So many of the world's greatest cities are built right on top of even older ones. But here's the question. How do you live with that history instead of just, paving over it? We're about to dive into a really fascinating story of urban archaeology and a city with what you might call a missing heart.
Okay, take a look at this. This is a map of ancient Alexandria, one of the most influential cities of the classical world. For centuries, its absolute core, this bustling Roman center of power and learning, was just gone, lost to time. But here's the twist. It was hiding in plain sight the whole time, just waiting to be stumbled upon, completely by accident.
And that's what brings us to our main story here. We're going to dig into the paradox of Alexandria, a city that literally unearthed its magnificent past, only to kinda keep it at arm's length. So this place is called El-Dikka, and get this, the discovery wasn't some grand, long-planned archaeological mission. Nope. Back in the 1950s, developers were just clearing the land to put up a new government building when they accidentally hit the ruins of the city's entire Roman-era center.
And what they found, wow, it was absolutely breathtaking. A whole district, pretty much frozen in time. A gorgeous Roman amphitheater, a massive academic complex with 22 lecture halls. We've never found anything else like it, plus these sprawling imperial baths and fancy villas. This was it. This was the intellectual and social hub of ancient Alexandria.
So, you find something this incredible, this monumental. You'd think it would be the crown jewel of the modern city, right? Well, to really get why it isn't, it helps to look at how two other ancient capitals, Rome and Athens, live with their past.
Think about Rome. You can literally walk right along the Via dei Fori Imperiali and look down into the very heart of the ancient empire. Or in Athens, the Acropolis is just always there, looming over the city, and the new museum is designed to have this direct conversation with the Parthenon. These places aren't just for tourists. They're part of the city's daily rhythm.
But then you look at Alexandria and El-Dikka. It feels like it's in a different universe. It's an island, sunk way below street level, all fenced off and totally disconnected. A ghost from the past, as our source material calls it, surrounded by the hustle of a modern city that barely seems to notice it's even there. So this huge difference, it brings up a really important question. What's the secret sauce? Why do some cities manage to weave their ancient history right into their modern identity, while for others, that connection is just broken?
Well, it turns out that by looking at places like Rome and Athens, we can actually put together a kind of playbook for how to get this right. So let's break down what those key principles are.
Okay, so it really comes down to four main things. One, heritage can't be an afterthought. You have to bake it into the city's development plans from the very beginning. Two, people need to be able to see it and get to it easily. Three, the site has to tell a story that makes sense, one that connects its past to the city's present. And four, and this one is so important, city planners and history experts have to be on the same team, working together.
So here's the big takeaway. The goal isn't just to preserve some old ruins behind a fence. It's about transforming an archaeological park into a living, breathing part of the city itself.
Okay, so now that we have that playbook, let's go back to Alexandria and really figure out what went wrong. Why is El-Dikka so cut off from everything?
I mean, you can see it right here. The physical isolation is just obvious. It's walled off, literally. On one side, you've got a military zone, then there's a solid fence, plus the entire site is in this pit, about 10 meters, that's over 30 feet below the street. The research calls this a sunken pool effect. You could walk right by it and never even know it exists.
But the physical walls aren't even the biggest problem. The real issue is actually a legal one, a huge gap in the planning. See, in Egypt, there are two different laws that are supposed to handle this. One law looks inward. It's all about protecting the artifacts inside the site. The other law looks outward. It's about making the city's buildings and streets look good. But there's nothing in between. No rule that actually connects the historic site to the modern city around it. It creates this total planning vacuum where it's nobody's job to bridge that gap.
And the author of the paper we're looking at, Mona S. El-Basha, she just nails the result of all this. She says these separate tracks have turned the site into a time hole, a pocket of the past completely cut off from the present that's flowing all around it. But look, it doesn't have to stay this way. And what's great is that the research doesn't just point out the problem. It actually lays out a really clear path forward, not just for Alexandria, but for any city facing this kind of challenge. The paper lays out this really smart three-part strategy. First, on a strategic level, you've got to get everybody talking.
The heritage experts, the city planners, and the public. Get them all on the same page. Second, spatially, you have to physically break down the barriers. Build viewing platforms, better pathways, maybe even an on-site museum. And third, socioculturally, you bring the place to life. Host cultural events, ask for public input, use cool tech like augmented reality to tell its amazing story. So the ultimate goal here is to completely change how we think about this site. Stop treating El-Dikka like some fragile relic you have to lock away. Instead, let it become an engine for the city's future, a source of identity, culture, and sustainable development that actually benefits everybody.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, something for you to consider. The story of Alexandria is such a powerful reminder that history isn't just something in a museum, right? It's literally under our feet. So the next time you're walking through your own city, just ask yourself, what forgotten stories, what hidden worlds are just waiting to be reconnected?